Your Excellency, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to deliver these closing remarks on behalf of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa at this important gathering with the theme, Ethiopia Delivers from Reform to Lasting Change. I commend the government of Ethiopia for convening this important forum, which has brought together policymakers, development partners, the private sector, academia, and young people to reflect on the conviction that reform must ultimately be judged not by intentions, but on outcomes that citizens can see, experience, and benefit from. I thank the presenters. Really, I have to admit I was conflicted. When the governor of the central bank presented, I thought this is the best. And then I saw the technology, I saw the urbanization, I saw so many, I stopped counting and comparing. And I thought this was a very good area to learn from. Thank you very much. So after those presentations, I was wondering what I should say that's different from what had been presented with updated numbers that we all saw. But Excellencies, we meet at a time when the global environment is becoming increasingly uncertain. Geopolitical tensions, climate shocks, supply chain disruptions, debt vulnerabilities, and tightening fiscal conditions continue to test the resilience of economies across the world. Across Africa, many countries are asking how to sustain growth, create jobs, and build resilience in the midst of the mounting global pressures. Against this backdrop, Ethiopia's experience offers important lessons. What stands out is not that Ethiopia has faced challenges. Every nation faces challenges. What stands out is the determination to respond with decisive reforms, long-term vision, and a commitment to implementation. Indeed, Ethiopia's story over recent years demonstrates that true transformation, beyond policy intentions, manifests into something that can be measured, observed, and experienced. I'll give only a few examples to illustrate that. And the first example is the climate action. Through the Green Legacy Initiative, which you all know, Ethiopia has mobilized millions of citizens to plant more than 40 billion tree seedlings, making it one of the largest reforestation efforts anywhere in the world. Beyond restoring degraded landscapes, this initiative has demonstrated how environmental stewardship can become a national movement that unites citizens behind a shared vision of sustainable development. Equally significant is Ethiopia's energy transformation. And as mentioned, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is today one of Africa's most ambitious energy infrastructure projects. Today, with the country's renewable energy investments in wind, solar, and geothermal energy, it is strengthening energy security, expanding access to electricity, and reinforcing Ethiopia's role as a regional supplier of clean energy. Ethiopia is already exporting clean electricity to neighboring countries such as Kenya and Djibouti, demonstrating how strategic investments in clean energy can generate benefits beyond national borders. Looking ahead, the growing interconnection of regional power pools will enable Ethiopian hydropower to reach markets far beyond Eastern Africa, linking East and Southern Africa through a shared clean energy future, thereby contributing to the continental vision of integrated regional and continental electricity markets. At a time when the world is searching for pathways to a green transition, Ethiopia is showing in practice that Africa can be part of the solution. This transformation is also evident in the transport sector. While much of the world continues to debate the transition to cleaner transportation, Ethiopia is already implementing it. The country has emerged as a continental leader in electric mobility, with the number of electric vehicles projected to increase from approximately 7,000 in 2023 to about 115,000 this year. The launch of the National E-Mobility Strategy in May last month, in partnership with ECA, demonstrates the commitment of Ethiopia to further accelerate that progress. Ethiopia's bold policy decisions in support of electric mobility, backed by an equally bold implementation, signal a clear commitment to a low-carbon future while reducing dependence on imported fossil fuels. A further illustration of Ethiopia's transformation can be found in the skies above us. Over the years, Ethiopia has invested strategically in the aviation through fleet modernization, expanded infrastructure, and enhanced connectivity. The result is an airline that today ranks among the world's leading carriers by destinations served and stands as Africa's largest airline by passenger traffic. Most remarkably, Ethiopian Airlines demonstrated extraordinary resilience during the COVID-19 pandemic, adapting its operations and expanding cargo services at a time when many global carriers faced unprecedented disruptions. Beyond strengthening Ethiopia's economy, this achievement has helped connect Africa more effectively to global markets, supporting trade, tourism, investment, and economic integration. Equally important, Ethiopia's world-class aviation training ecosystem is nurturing the next generation of pilots, engineers, technicians, and aviation professionals. Large-scale investment in Ethiopia's planned new airport at Bishoftu will further solidify the footprints of Ethiopia's aviation industry on national and continental transformation. The agriculture sector, as mentioned, offers another compelling example, and I'll just take one case. Not long time ago, Ethiopia was one of Africa's largest wheat importers. Today, through expanded irrigation, improved seed systems, and targeted support to farmers, the country has achieved wheat self-sufficiency and began exporting wheat to the neighboring countries. This achievement demonstrates how strategic investments in agriculture can strengthen food security, conserve foreign exchange, and create opportunities for rural communities. Excellencies, the gains are equally visible in tourism. In just 9 months, Ethiopia welcomed more than 1.2 million international visitors and generated over $2 billion in tourism revenue. Investments in heritage restoration, destination development, urban renewal, and hospitality infrastructure are helping position Ethiopia as one of Africa's most attractive tourist destinations. Projects such as the restoration of historic sites and the transformation of urban spaces are demonstrating how culture, history, and tourism can become powerful engines of economic growth. Recent investments in industrial parks, digital reforms, and logistics infrastructure are also helping position Ethiopia as a competitive manufacturing and investment destination, strengthening its integration into regional and global value chains. And I think the senior advisor in the Ministry of Finance well elaborated and unpacked what is happening in Addis Ababa and in all other urban centers. Thank you very much for that. Beyond these sectoral achievements, the broader economic picture is equally noteworthy. Despite a challenging and uncertain global environment, Ethiopia's economic growth has consistently ranked among the strongest on the continent in recent years, even as it advances ambitious macroeconomic reforms. And currently, for this year, it's projected that on the African continent, it's going to come #1. We'll be waiting to see the figures. Efforts to address foreign exchange constraints, improve fiscal management, and advance debt restructuring are helping create a stronger foundation for long-term growth, macroeconomic stability, and investor confidence. Ethiopia is also taking important steps to deepen its financial sector and mobilize long-term domestic capital for development. And when the governor of the central bank was presenting, I would tell him that as a former governor of the central bank and someone who participated in the Basel III reform, I would say that many people would be jealous by looking at the capital adequacy ratio of 19% and the liquidity ratio of 30%. This is very rare for any country. Thank you. With the support of the Economic Commission for Africa and other partners, the country is advancing reforms to broaden institutional investor participation, develop innovative instruments such as gender bonds, expand financing opportunities for small and medium-sized enterprises, and prepare a 10-year capital markets master plan that will help shape the future trajectory of Ethiopia's capital market. Collectively, these achievements tell a compelling story. They demonstrate that transformation is not a result of a single policy, a single project, or a single reform. It is a cumulative outcome of sustained leadership, strategic investments, and a determination to implement at scale. The growing recognition of Ethiopia's transformation is perhaps best illustrated by the fact that the country has been selected to host the COP32 in Addis Ababa in 2027. This is a landmark achievement not only for Ethiopia, but for Africa. Hosting the world's premier climate conference speaks to Ethiopia's climate leadership and sends a powerful signal that Africa is increasingly shaping global solutions rather than merely responding to global challenges. As Ethiopia prepares for COP32, the opportunity extends beyond hosting a successful conference. It is an opportunity to build a lasting legacy of green industrialization, climate resilience, and sustainable growth. Looking ahead, Excellencies, 3 priorities will be particularly important. First, Ethiopia should continue safeguarding macroeconomic stability beyond sustainable transformation, because sustainable transformation requires a strong and predictable economic foundation. And when I talk about macroeconomic stability, I focus on 4 different areas. On the fiscal side, especially the debt and deficit, the real sector, which we normally call productive sector, with all the areas that are supporting economy to grow, the balance of payments, and the monetary sector. And once you have a solid foundation, then you know that you can build growth out of that foundation. Second, the country should enhance value addition and industrialization so that more of what Ethiopia produces is processed, manufactured, and exported competitively, creating jobs and increasing resilience. And third, Ethiopia must leverage its leadership in renewable energy, climate action, and innovation to position itself as a continental hub for green industrialization and sustainable development. Excellencies, as Ethiopia advances from reform to lasting change, let me assure you that it will not walk this journey alone. The United Nations Economic Commission for Africa remains committed to continue supporting Ethiopia through policy advice, analytical expertise, strategic partnerships, and convening power. Ethiopia's success matters beyond its borders. When a country of more than 130 million people shows that transformation is possible, it inspires the rest of Africa to see what can be achieved. And on this note, let me just tell you my personal perspective and the issue I've been having at the ECA, where we host so many conferences, with many visitors, some of them that have lived here, and they were asking so many questions which are very difficult. And when they come here and they see the transformation that is being made, looking at the speed and the scale, they ask me, where is the money coming from? Who is doing this? And sometimes I don't have any answers. But I know that that's how it felt when I started. When I came here in 2023, and I was wondering what was happening. And one day I met the Prime Minister. I was honored to meet the Prime Minister and posed the same question. I asked him, what's happening? And he said, my intention is to make sure that every citizen can see where their taxpayers' money goes without any guess. And I said to myself, this is the real test of visionary leadership. And I thank you, Prime Minister, really for that. So as I close, Excellencies, I would like to say that whether we see it or not, this country, this great country, Ethiopia, it is in the move to sustainable development. And I have no doubt that it will be an economic case study in the future. I thank you very much for your kind attention.